Okay, today is the 7th of July 2023. We have been looking at some recap lessons. So yesterday we did recap in percentages and we looked at some questions, some possible questions that you get. Okay, now today we want to look at fractions, but here we want to look at questions because I've already introduced you to fractions. Okay, now we have a top numerator and a down denominator. So here we have a fraction 4/5. Okay, to make it an equivalent fraction. An equivalent fraction just means if you reduce that fraction to its lowest or simplest form, it's still the same fraction. Okay, so if they have common factors, you can reduce them. You can divide the numerator and denominator by the same number, or multiply the numerator and denominator by the same number, or half it, or whatever you do to it, you go back to the lowest form. Okay, so let's look at this fraction 4/5. This is in the lowest form. If I multiply the numerator by 4, I have 16. If I multiply the denominator by 4, okay, I have 20. You can multiply the numerator by 4 and multiply the denominator by 5. Whatever you do to the top, you have to do it down. Okay, so I'm multiplying both the numerator and denominator by 4. So 4/5 becomes 16/20. Here, these two fractions are equivalent fractions. Okay, now let's do some simple examples before we move ahead. Okay, so 4/5 again times 2 is 8 at the numerator, times 2 at the denominator is 10. Whatever number you use for the numerator, you have to use the same for the denominator. Don't use 2 for the numerator and use 3 for the denominator. It doesn't work like that. Okay, so an equivalent fraction of 4/5 is 8/10. Now, if you multiply the same fraction, both numerator and denominator, by 3, you have 4 times 3 is 12, and 5 times 3 is 15. So these fractions are equivalent fractions. We've already done 16/24. Okay, now if we multiply the numerator again by 5, 4 times 5 is 20. And then if we multiply by 5, 5 times 5 is 25. Okay, then if we multiply by 6, 4 times 6 is 24. If we multiply 5 by 6, 5 by 6 is 30. So all these fractions, 4/5, 8/10, 12/15, 16/20, 20/25, 24/30. Okay, we can continue multiplying, but just to show you what I mean. Okay, so in the simplest form is this, but all these are equivalent fractions. So assuming I did an addition or subtraction or multiplication or division, and the question says reduce it to the simplest form, and I got 16 out of 20, then I have to look to find my answer in 4/5. All I have to do is divide 16 by 4 and divide 20 by 4 by the same number. Okay. Now question 2. Solve 2/3 of 99. We did a lot of these examples yesterday. We said office times, but in yesterday we saw it as percentage. So maybe 2% is 2 out of 100. And then we used the powers of 10 and did the multiplication. So I said to you how to do it on the calculator, and also how to cancel out or multiply the numerator and the denominators. Okay, so here 2/3 times 99. Remember, this 99 can be written as 99/1, so that we don't miss the numerators and the denominators. Okay, now 3 is a common factor of 3 and 99. So how many 3's do I have in 3? 1. How many 3 would I have in 99? 33. Okay, so 2 times 33 is 66. So 2/3 of 99 is 66. Okay, that is our second question. Question number 3, ordering fractions. You remember we did ordering whole numbers yesterday. Here, if you want to order fractions, you can look at the fractions: 1/3, 5/6, 7/12, 3/8, 11/24. A lot of fractions. Okay, each of them have different denominators, and I wouldn't be able to say which one is the lowest or which one is the highest. I can only do that if all of them have the same denominators. The only way I can get them all to have the same denominators is to find here the common multiple. Now look at the numbers in the denominators carefully. The common multiple, we've done it in one of our videos, is 24. Okay, as you grow in maths, in your learning, in secondary school, or as you do it over and over again, some of these questions are repetitive. They repeat themselves. So you can see things, and from the timetable, you can easily see that it's 24, because 25 can divide each of these numbers. Okay, if you use 12, then you can do that. 11/24 and 8 at 3/4. Okay, 12 is okay for 3, 6, and 12, but because you want a multiple that would take care of all the denominators, not some. I hope I'm clear. So that is why we learned equivalent fractions. Okay, and that's why we learned least common multiple and highest common factor. Okay, if you are doing this kind of algebra maths, you need to know a lot about multiples and factors. It will help you a lot. So if you don't understand, go back and watch that video. Watch it and learn your times table, because it will come handy. Okay, our common multiple is 24. So all our denominators, we need to change them to 24. Okay, what would I do to 3 to make it 24? I'll times by 8. So I'm going to times the numerator by 8 also. Okay, so 1 times 8 is 8. 3 times 8 is 24. So in place of 1/3, I'll put 8 over 24. There it is. Okay, now 5 over 6. What would I do to 6 to get 24? I'll times by 4. So if I'm timesing the denominator by 4, then I have to do the same to the numerator. So 5 times 4 is 20. 6 times 4 is 24. So our second fraction, 5 over 6, become 20 over 24. There we go. The second one, 7 over 12. What would I do to 12 to make it 24? I'll times by 2. So if I'm timesing the denominator by 2, then I'll times the numerator by 2 also. So 7 times 2 is 14. 12 times 2 is 24. So my third fraction will be 14 over 24. The third one. What would I do to 8 to make it 24? Times by 3. So 8 times 3 is 24. So I'll do the same to the numerator. 3 times 3 is 9. Okay, so my fourth one is 9 over 24. The last one, 24. So I times by 1. So 11 times 1 is 11. So I just repeat this one. So now I've changed 1/3 to 8 over 24. 5 over 6 to 20 over 24. 7 over 12 to 14 over 24. 3 over 8 to 9 over 24. 11 over 24 to 11 over 24. So now, because I have the denominators to be the same, I can order them. So now look at the numerators. 8 is my first lowest number. Okay, if they said order them from lowest to highest, then you start from the lowest. If they say order them from highest to lowest, then you put this first. But they didn't say the guess we should order, so we are going to order from the lowest. Even if you did it from the highest, they might give you the answer because they have not told you whether you should do it upward or downward. I hope I'm clear. So 8 over 24 will be the first one, which is a third. Okay, after you've put them in order, try and write the original fractions. Don't just leave them that way, because this way not the fraction they gave you. Okay, so 8 over 12, we know that the equivalent fraction is 1 over third, 1 over 3. Okay, the second one here is 9 over 24. 9 over 24 here is 3 over 8. Okay, so 9 over 24 is 3 over 8. The third one is 11 over 24. So 11 over 24, we just multiplied both the numerators, so it's 11 over 24. The fourth one is 14 over 24, which is 7 over 12. And the fifth one is 20 over 24, which is 5 over 6. So just by putting our fractions in the same denominators, we've been able to order them. If we hadn't done that, we will not be able to easily order them. But now look, 8, 9, the numerators, 8, 9, 11, 14, 20. What it means is you have 24 portions, and then you took 8. 9, 11, 14, and then 20. So now this is the new order from the lowest to the highest. Okay, let's quickly do the next question. Now, addition of fractions. That one also, we said we need to put the denominators, make them the same, and then we can add the top. Okay, so now 12 and 5, the common multiple here is 60. If we use 30, 30 will not, it's not a common multiple of 12. Okay, so the next will be 60. Okay, as I said, the more you practice, the more you this. So we have to put the denominator 5 over 12. What do we do to 12 to make it 60? We multiply by 5. So if we are doing that to the denominator, then we do that to the numerator. 5 times 5 is 25. Okay, so in place of 5 over 12, we are going to write 25 over 16. Then the second one, what will we do to 5 to make it 60? We multiply by 12. 5 times 12 is 60. So 3 times 12 is 36. So instead of 3 over 6, we'll put the equivalent fraction 36 over 60. So here we go. So our new fractions now will be 25 over 60 plus 36 over 60. Now you can do this on top of your head, or you can just use the calculator. But because we have the same denominators, we do not add the denominators. I have stressed this. We just repeat the one denominator and add the numerators. So here we have 61 over 60. If they don't say anything, we can leave our fraction as a top-heavy fraction or an improper fraction, or we can leave it as a mixed fraction. So how many 60s do we have in 61? 1. Remainder 1 over 60. So we can leave it as a mixed fraction or a top-heavy fraction. Okay, so this is the fourth question that we want to look at today. Now let's look at the fifth one. Here we want to subtract. So as we did in addition, we need to keep the denominators the same. So the common multiple here is 25. Okay, so now this is already 25, so we don't have anything to do with that, because if you multiply by 1, you get 25. 19 by 1 is 19. So we repeat that. Now, what do we do to 5 to get 25? We multiply by 5. 25. We multiply 1 by 5. 5. So 5 over 25. So now we have 19 over 25. In place of 1 over 5, we put 5 over 25. So now we've made the denominators the same. So we only repeat the denominator here. Okay, and then we subtract the numerators. It's important we don't subtract or add both numerators, and we just keep the denominators the same. Try and make the denominators the same and then subtract. So 19, okay, minus 5 equals 14 over 25. Okay, so our answer here will be 14 if we subtract. Now let's look at some multiplications. Okay, in multiplication, it's straightforward. We multiply the numerators and multiply the denominators. So here, 1 times 7 is 7. 7 times 8 is 56. Okay, or the 7 can cancel out. So when the 7 cancel out, we have 1 times 8. So straight away, we have our answer in the lowest form. This is very easy. Okay, you should be able to do that. Okay, even I think a top set in primary school, year 6, should be able to do this. Okay, now question 7. Again, multiply 2 over 9 times 7 over 11. Okay, so multiplication again. We multiply the numerators and we multiply the denominators. Okay, so now 2 times 7 is 14. 9 times 11 is 99. This is the lowest form, 14 over 99, because there are no common factors that we have. If we try it, we will get decimals. Okay, so this will be our answer. Okay, so now let's look at the other questions that we have here. So now I think we are on question 8, which is divide. So we've looked at equivalent fractions. We've looked at addition and subtraction. Okay, in division, we said because we cannot divide, we are not allowed to divide the top and numerator. We keep the first fraction, we bring a times, and then we flip the second fraction. Okay, so 5 over 4 there, and then times. Immediately you change the division to times, you have to flip the second fraction, and I've done the flip here. You should never forget. Okay, so here, how many 4s do we have in 4? 1. How many 4s do we have in 8? 2. So 5 times 2 is 10. Okay, and then 1 times 7 is 7. So your answer should give you 10 over 7. That is a top heavy fraction. Okay, so you can change it to a mixed fraction, or you can leave your answer as that. But you can also do 5 times 8, 40. 4 times 7, 28. If you have 40, you get 20. If you have 28, you get 14. If you have it again, you get 10. And when you have 14, you have 7. So now, 10 over 7. How many 7s do you have in 10? 1. A remainder of 3 divided by 7. So you can leave your answer as a mixed fraction or a top heavy fraction. Okay, so if they say leave your answer as top heavy or improper fraction, or they don't say anything, you can stop here. Okay, now let's look at the last question for today, the last fraction. All this we are doing is recap. So I'm just bringing questions to show you how you can solve, okay, and how you should think about some of these questions if you miss them, because these questions maybe carry 1 mark, and maybe it's an introduction just to you. These are questions you can easily do, that you don't have to, you can easily get 1 mark off. Okay, so you shouldn't lose this opportunity. You should learn these ones so that it can make up for the ones that you don't know. Okay, now 5 over 6 divided by 7 over 12. Okay, here again, the first fraction, we don't do anything to it. But when we change the division to multiplication, we have to flip the second fraction. So if I flip 7 over 12, I have 12 over 7. Now, how many 6 do we have in 6? 1. How many 6 do we have in 12? 2. So 5 times 2, only the numerator is 10. 1 times 7 is 7. So here again, our answer is 10 over 7. And then we have a mixed fraction of one whole number, 3 over 7. Okay, we can decide to leave the answer this way, or we can go ahead and leave it as a mixed fraction. Okay, so thank you for watching today's lesson, and I'll see you in the next lesson.